Hi, my name is Ryan Langwish, and I'm continuing a series of recording playthroughs of all the old games that my brother and I made over the years. Today I'm taking a look at Logisquares, which is a game I never actually released, but I worked on back in 2009 when I was very into making puzzles. So making like pencil and paper type puzzles. And I had actually at this point gotten one of my puzzle designs published, and I think I was brainstorming other possible designs and had the idea of kind of making this game that was basically taking the concept of Minesweeper but making it a little bit more into the type of puzzle that you would do with pencil and paper. Interestingly enough, I had done this whole project in 2009, never released it. Years later, I'm not sure how much later it was, I was trying to think of new puzzle designs to actually submit to the magazine that I had other puzzles published in, and I ended up actually bringing back Logisquares and making it into a puzzle, and it has since I've gotten Logisquares consistently published in that magazine. So the puzzle itself is actually pretty solid, and this is the origins of it. So let's go in here, main game. So I guess I can't drag that. This is a game that definitely I was thinking I was going to have this scoring based on how long it took and how many clicks, and which is a little weird for this style of game. Like, you don't really care about that stuff. You mostly just want to beat the puzzles. But here we go, a little tutorial. Each puzzle consists of a grid. Hidden in the grid are a certain number of mines. Your job is to find them. Right click to mark a mine, left click to mark an empty box. Arrows above and to the right show how many mines are in those rows and columns. Number boxes indicate how many of the 8 boxes surrounding are mines. Those are just like Minesweeper. Here's an example puzzle. Can I actually? No, it doesn't let me do it. First, we can X out all the ones that have columns and rows of 0. There are 2. So it's just kind of walking you through the logic here. For a puzzle to be completed, every box must be filled. To achieve a high score, try to do them in less clicks. Okay, so here we go. So the idea is I can X out all these because there's 0. Same with this column. Just going to tell me a few things. We know there's a mine because there needs to be ones next to these ones. There's only 2 in this column. I will say, in all the of my making these puzzles for the magazine, I've gotten fairly good at Logisquares puzzles. We know there's next to here, next to the 3, but not here. That one already has one, so neither of these. Puzzle correct. And some kind of scoring mechanism. And then that unlocks the next one. You'll notice the background has these falling shapes. Kind of just an aesthetic thing. While testing this game, was kind of just like looking at the screen or whatever, and I started to just kind of like move my cursor around and try to like not touch any of the shapes that were falling down. And as I was doing that, I was like, this is kind of entertaining, like trying to kind of fit through small things with the shapes falling at different speeds. And at that moment I went, this could be its own game, and ended up in the next 25 minutes making the game Shape Dodge, which is the next one I'm going to be recording. So that was the origins of Shape Dodge, was simply the background in this game. Let's see if we can crank through some more of these. These are all 0. Let's see, we know there's 2 in these. We know there's 1 in here, and it has to be next to this one. But how do we know? Right now it seems like any of these could be, because we don't know anything about our rows. That seems odd. Because the idea of a good puzzle like this is it shouldn't have multiple solutions. 2 of these 3 need to be. So it could be here. Oh no, we need 2 of them. And it can't be both of the ones, so we know this has to be. If it's here, then we would have to have it here and here. That would work. If it's here, then we would have to have it here and here, which would work. I think this has multiple solutions. In fact, I think it has quite a few solutions because I think that one over here could go anywhere, which is really terrible design in my opinion. Like I could put this in any of these, right? Is there something invalid about what I just did? How am I? Is it like? Did I edit it at some point? And like, oh, that's an example of a very bad puzzle. If I was making logic squares today, I would not do that because it had multiple solutions. Okay, let's see. I did, when I made it for pencil and paper, I added some things to it that weren't in this. So I added these like outlines that can like outline a group of shapes, and it guarantees that there's only one and only one mine inside of that outline. And then I also put in arrows that let you tell you that there's at least one mine in the direction of the arrow. Do we have another multiple solution? It seems like there should be like things on the left that are telling us how many mines there are that would be keeping this from having multiple solutions. But as is, I don't know which. Yeah, it could be either way. It's really silly. It seems like we're missing. I don't know that all of them have both, but it seems odd that both of these last ones only had the top. Like, I think we're literally missing some of these. I might quit. Well, then I'm going to have to start over. But it is kind of not very playable when it's missing those. Because I think that's the problem. I think there's supposed to be things along here that are limiting how many are in a row. Because this is going to have multiple solutions as well. I'm going to take a quick look. Okay, so it turns out that looking at this next tutorial, I did have arrows in this game. So I think I did have more things than I thought. But there is something wrong with this source file, like, for sure. I'm, like, looking in the code, and it's like the objects for these don't even exist, even though there's a graphic for it. I think because this was a GameMaker 7 project, and I'm opening a GameMaker Studio, I think something weird is happening. Which is going to make this very difficult to do much more, because I think all the puzzles are going to have multiple solutions because they aren't constrained by the number of mines in the rows. So this may be near the end of what I show of this. I don't think there's a whole lot more to get into. You can see we now have these arrows. It's telling you there's at least one in here. Or this one, we actually know this is here because it's the only option. This is kind of a stupid clue because this one and this already tells you that one of these four is without even having this. It's something as I've tried to more intelligently construct these puzzles, I try to not have overlapping clues like that where each clue doesn't add anything that the other clue doesn't already tell you. But yeah, as is, this is going to be a little bit miserable. We know this is because this is one. And these can't be. We know one of these, so these can't be. This one's actually a little more constrained even without the lefts. At least it seems like it. But again, one of these has to be, and it could be either. And because we're not constrained by the rows, there's no way to know. And this one actually, this is constrained. So it almost is a unique solution. It's just that either of these this could go either way. We'll take a guess. Oh, and that one gave me an error. I think because I cheated and switched the rooms around so that I could start at the that level. But maybe that's all we do for this one. It was enough to at least see kind of what it looked like. It's kind of fun to see. I wanted to at least record this one even though it was an unfinished project because it ended up going on to be a puzzle that I publish regularly and actually, is kind of a thing at this point. It's kind of fun to see where its origins came from here. Too bad I couldn't get it working a little bit better, but that's that. That is the original Logic Squares game. I'll be back with another video soon. Goodbye.